Welcome to Night Whisper Tales, where the stories never sleep. Every night, a new voice calls from the dark, waiting for you to listen. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
I'm writing this from
Before
a
the next
hotel
tale
room
finds you.
3 states away from where I grew up. The police are looking for me. My parents think I've lost my mind, but I know what I saw. I know what happened to my friends on Halloween night, and I know that if I go back there, I'll disappear just like they did. My name is Alex Chen, and I'm 17 years old. 3 weeks ago, I was a normal high school senior living in Millbrook, a quiet suburb where nothing interesting ever happened. Now, I'm a suspect in the disappearance of 4 people, and I can't tell anyone the truth because the truth sounds completely insane. It started with a dare. That's how the worst things always start, isn't it? My friend group had been together since middle school. There was me, obviously, then Marcus Webb, who was the smart one, always researching weird stuff and telling us about conspiracy theories, Sarah Kim, who was fearless and competitive about everything, Devin Price, who could make anyone laugh, even in the worst situations, and finally Emma Rodriguez, who was quieter than the rest of us, but always up for whatever adventure we planned. We'd been talking about how lame Halloween had gotten as we got older. No more trick-or-treating, no more dressing up unless it was for a party we were too cool to actually enjoy. We wanted to do something that would make us feel like kids again, but scarier, more real. That's when Marcus brought up the game. He'd found it on some obscure forum while researching local urban legends. It was called The Last Game, and according to the posts he'd read, it was a version of hide-and-seek that had been played in our town decades ago. But it wasn't just any hide-and-seek. It had rules, specific rules that had to be followed exactly, or something bad would happen. "Listen to this," Marcus said, reading from his phone. We were all sitting in Sarah's basement the Wednesday before Halloween. "The last game can only be played on Halloween night between midnight and 3 a.m. You need at least 5 players. One person is chosen as the seeker, and the others hide within a 1-mile radius of the starting point. But here's the thing. The seeker isn't trying to find the players. The seeker is trying to keep them safe from what's really looking for them." "What's really looking for them?" Emma asked, her voice uncertain. Marcus scrolled down. "It doesn't say, but apparently if you play the game correctly and everyone makes it back to the starting point before 3 a.m., you get a wish. Any wish." "That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard," Sarah said, but she was smiling. "Maybe," Marcus said, "but look at this." He showed us his phone. There were newspaper articles from the 1970s and 80s, all about teenagers who'd gone missing on Halloween night in Millbrook. 7 different incidents over the years. Always groups of 5 kids, always between the ages of 15 and 18. The articles called it coincidence, said the kids had probably run away or gotten into accidents in the woods. But in each case, one kid had been found wandering the streets at dawn, unable to remember what had happened. Those kids had all been institutionalized eventually, diagnosed with shared psychotic disorder or severe trauma-induced delusion. "We should do it," Sarah said suddenly. We all looked at her. "Come on, it's obviously fake, but it would be fun, a real adventure on Halloween. Following all these stupid rules, getting scared of nothing. It's better than sitting around watching horror movies we've all seen 100 times. "I don't know," Emma said. "Those articles are real. Those kids really disappeared." 50 years ago, Sarah countered, "and they probably just ran away. You know how it was back then. Strict parents, no cell phones. Kids would disappear for weeks and nobody would find them because there was no way to track them. It's different now. We all have phones, we know the area, nothing's gonna happen." Devin looked at me. "What do you think, Alex?" I should have said no. I should have pointed out that even if the supernatural stuff was fake, there were plenty of real dangers. We'd be wandering around in the dark for 3 hours on Halloween night when all kinds of weirdos were out. But I didn't say any of that. Instead, I felt that pull of peer pressure, that desire not to be the boring one who ruins the fun. I think it could be interesting. If we're all together and we stay safe, what's the worst that could happen? Famous last words. We spent the next few days planning. Marcus printed out all the rules from the forum and made us memorize them. There were a lot of rules, and they were very specific. Rule 1, the game must be started at exactly midnight on Halloween, not 11:59, not 12:01, exactly midnight. Rule 2, players must gather at a crossroads. The more isolated, the better. Rule 3, everyone must bring a candle and matches. The candles must be white. Rule 4, before the game begins, each player must state their full name and say, "I offer myself to the last game." Rule 5, choose the seeker by drawing straws. The shortest straw wins. The seeker must stay at the crossroads and keep their candle lit the entire time. Rule 6, the hiders have from midnight to 3 a.m. to hide anywhere within a 1-mile radius of the starting point and then make their way back to the crossroads. Rule 7, if you see something following you, do not run. Walk calmly to a new hiding spot. Rule 8, if you hear your name called by someone who isn't another player, do not answer. Rule 9, if your candle goes out, relight it immediately. If you can't relight it, get back to the crossroads as fast as possible. Rule 10, all players must be back at the crossroads by 3 a.m. If even one player is missing, the game continues until they return or until sunrise. Rule 11, if everyone returns safely, make a wish while holding your candle. The wish will be granted within 1 year. Rule 12, never play the last game more than once. "These rules are so weird," Emma said when we reviewed them on Halloween afternoon. "Why does the seeker stay at the start? Why the candles? It doesn't make any sense." "That's what makes it creepy," Devin said. "It's like someone made up these rules for a real reason, like they learned the hard way." We'd chosen our crossroads carefully. About 2 miles outside of town, there was an intersection of 2 old logging roads deep in the woods. Nobody went out there anymore. It was perfect. Isolated, but not so far that we couldn't get back to civilization if we needed to. We all told our parents we were going to a Halloween party at Marcus's house. His parents were out of town, so he said we could stay there all night. It was a perfect cover. None of our parents had any reason to doubt us. At 11:30 p.m., we met at Sarah's car. She was the only one with a car that could fit all 5 of us. We'd all dressed in dark clothes, brought flashlights, and had our white candles and matches. Sarah had also brought a portable speaker to play spooky music on the drive, making us all laugh and easing the tension. The drive out to the logging roads took 20 minutes. The further we got from town, the quieter everyone became. The jokes stopped. Even Sarah, who was so confident, seemed nervous. We parked at the edge of the woods and walked the rest of the way, using our phone flashlights to navigate. The trees were thick overhead, blocking out most of the moonlight. Our feet crunched through fallen leaves. In the distance, we could hear the sounds of the woods at night, branches creaking, animals moving through the underbrush, the occasional call of an owl. When we reached the crossroads, we checked our phones. 11:47 p.m. We had 13 minutes. "Okay," Marcus said, pulling out his printed rules. "We have 13 minutes. Everyone light your candles and keep them lit."
We each pulled out our white candles and lit them with shaking hands. The small flames flickered in the night breeze, casting weird shadows on our faces. "This is actually really creepy," Devin said, trying to laugh but not quite managing it. At 11:59, Marcus made us form a circle at the exact center of the crossroads. He had us check our phones one more time, making sure we were all synced to the same time. When it hits midnight, we each say our full name and then, "I offer myself to the last game," Marcus instructed. Then we draw straws for who's the seeker. Everyone clear? We all nodded. I watched my phone screen, heart pounding. 11:58, 11:59, midnight. "Marcus James Webb, I offer myself to the last game," Marcus said clearly. "Sarah Michelle Kim, I offer myself to the last game." "Devin Christopher Price, I offer myself to the last game." "Emma Louise Rodriguez,
I offer myself to the last game. They all looked at me. I swallowed hard. Alex Jordan Chen, I offer myself to the last game. The moment the words left my mouth, something changed. The woods went completely silent. No more animals, no more wind, no more creaking branches. The air felt heavier, pressing down on us. Our candle flames all flickered at the same moment, in the same direction, even though there was no breeze. "Did you guys feel that?" Emma whispered. "Just the wind," Sarah said, but her voice was shaky. Marcus pulled out 5 straws he'd cut to different lengths, holding them in his fist so we couldn't see which was shortest. We each drew one. I got a medium-length straw. So did Sarah and Devin. Emma got one of the longer ones. That left Marcus. "I'm the seeker," he said, looking at his short straw. "Great." According to the rules, the seeker had to stay at the crossroads no matter what happened. The rest of us would hide in the woods within the 1-mile radius, then make our way back by 3 a.m. "Remember the rules," Marcus said as we prepared to scatter. "Don't run if you see something. Don't answer if you hear your name. Keep your candles lit and get back here before 3. "This is going to be so stupid," Sarah said, but she didn't sound convinced anymore. "We're going to hide in the woods for 3 hours, get cold and bored, and then come back. Nothing's going to happen." "Then why are you scared?" Devin asked. "I'm not scared, I'm cold." We checked our phones one last time. 12:07 a.m. We had until 3 a.m. That gave us 2 hours and 53 minutes to hide and return. "See you guys at 3, Emma said quietly. Then we split up, each of us heading in a different direction into the dark woods, our candles flickering in our hands. I chose to go north, toward where I knew there was an old creek bed. I figured I could hide under the bridge that crossed it. It would give me shelter and keep my candle out of any wind. The walk there took about 15 minutes. Every step felt wrong. The woods were still too quiet. My candle flame stayed perfectly vertical, not flickering at all despite the fact that I was walking, and there should have been some breeze from my movement. I kept my phone in my pocket, but didn't turn on the flashlight. The rules didn't say anything about not using phones, but something told me I should rely on the candle, that the candle was important. When I reached the creek bed, I carefully climbed down the embankment. The old stone bridge was still there, covered in moss and graffiti from decades of teenagers finding this spot. I wedged myself underneath it, protecting my candle from any wind, and settled in to wait. That's when I heard the first whisper. At first I thought it was just the wind finally returning, but as I listened more carefully, I realized it was voices, multiple voices, all whispering at once, too quiet to make out the words, but loud enough that I knew they were there. I remembered Rule 8.
If you hear your name called by someone who isn't another player, do not answer." The whispers grew louder. I still couldn't understand them, but they seemed to be coming from all directions. My hands shook as I held the candle, watching the flames stay perfectly still despite my trembling. Then I heard it, clear as day, cutting through all the other whispers. "Alex!" It was my mother's voice. I bit my lip hard to keep from responding. My mother was at home, asleep. That wasn't her. It couldn't be her. "Alex, sweetheart, where are you?" The voice was so perfect, so exactly like her. Even the tone was right, worried but trying not to show it, the way she sounded when I was late coming home. "I'm worried about you. Please answer me." My eyes filled with tears. It took everything in me not to respond. The voice moved closer. I could hear footsteps now, leaves crunching, branches breaking. Whatever was making that sound was getting nearer to my hiding spot. "Alex Jordan Chen." It said my full name, the same name I'd used to offer myself to the game. I pressed myself further back under the bridge, holding my candle close to my chest. The footsteps came closer, closer. They stopped right above me, on top of the bridge. A long silence. Then, "I know you're down there." But the voice had changed. It wasn't my mother anymore. It was something else, something that was trying to sound human, but couldn't quite manage it. The words were in the right order, but the inflection was wrong, like someone who'd learned to speak by listening to recordings, but never actually had a conversation. I held my breath. Above me, I heard more footsteps, not walking away, walking back and forth, searching. Then my phone buzzed in my pocket. I nearly jumped out of my skin. The thing above me went silent. I very slowly pulled out my phone, cupping my hand over the screen to dim the light. It was a text from Marcus. "Everyone okay? Sound off." Sarah had replied, "I'm fine, nothing weird yet." Devon, "Same here, kind of boring actually." Emma, "I'm good, hiding under a fallen tree." I started to type a response, but before I could send it, I heard movement above me again, faster now, more urgent. Something dropped down from the bridge, landing in the creek bed with a wet thump. I couldn't see it. My candle only illuminated a small circle around me, but I could hear it breathing, if you could call it breathing. It was more like air being pulled through a wet cloth, ragged and thick. It was between me and the embankment, between me and escape. Rule 7. If you see something following you, do not run. Walk calmly to a new hiding spot. But I couldn't see it. Did that count? The breathing moved closer. I could smell something now, something like old meat left out in the sun. My stomach churned. My candle flickered. For the first time since I'd lit it, the flame wavered. It bent to the side, pointing away from where the breathing was coming from, almost like it was trying to tell me which way to go. I decided to trust it. Moving as slowly as I could, I stood up and began walking in the direction the flame pointed. I didn't look behind me. I didn't run. I just walked, one foot in front of the other, my candle held out in front of me like a compass. The breathing followed. I walked along the creek bed, my shoes splashing through shallow water. Behind me, the breathing got louder, closer. Whatever it was keeping pace with me. But it wasn't attacking, it was just following. After what felt like forever, but was probably only a few minutes, I climbed up the opposite embankment. The breathing didn't follow me up. When I reached the top and looked back, I saw nothing but darkness below. But I could still hear it down there, that wet, rattling breath echoing through the creek bed. I checked my phone, 12:43 a.m. I'd been hiding for less than 40 minutes, and already something had found me. I had over 2 hours left. I found a new hiding spot, a dense thicket of bushes about 100 yards from the creek bed. I pushed my way into the center of it, thorns catching on my clothes, and sat down with my back against a tree trunk. My phone buzzed again, another text from Marcus. Guys, I'm seeing things, shapes moving in the trees. They're not coming close, but they're definitely there. Everyone stay alert. Sarah, how long have they been there? Marcus, about 20 minutes. They showed up right after I texted last time. A chill ran down my spine. The thing in the creek bed had found me right after I'd looked at my phone. The shapes around Marcus had appeared after he texted. Devin must have realized it too. Maybe we shouldn't use our phones. I think it attracts them. What attracts them? What are we talking about? Whatever's out here with us. A long pause. Then Sarah. This isn't funny anymore. I want to go back. It's only been an hour. Rules say we have to wait until 3. Fuck the rules. This was a stupid idea. If we don't follow the rules, something bad happens. That's what all the stories said. We have to make it to 3. I wanted to text back, but I was scared to use my phone again. Instead, I just sat there in the bushes, watching the candle flame. It had straightened out again, burning steady and bright. That's when I heard the screaming. It was coming from somewhere to the east, maybe half a mile away. A girl's voice, high and terrified, screaming for help. It sounded like Emma. I grabbed my phone. No new texts. I typed quickly, "Emma, are you okay?" 3 dots appeared immediately. "I'm fine. Why?" I heard screaming. "Devin, I heard it too. If it's not Emma, then what is it?" No one answered. The screaming continued for another minute, then stopped abruptly. The silence that followed was somehow worse.
My phone buzzed. Marcus, new rule. Nobody goes to investigate anything. No matter what you hear, stay hidden. We all agreed. The next hour was the longest of my life. I sat in that thicket, barely moving, watching my candle burn lower and lower. I heard things moving through the woods, footsteps that didn't sound right, like too many legs or joints bending in wrong directions. More whispers, sometimes close, sometimes far away. Once, I heard what sounded like Sarah's laugh, but it went on too long, getting higher and higher, until it didn't sound human anymore. At 2:15 a.m., my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "Come find me." That was it. No other information. I didn't reply. Another text. "Please, I'm scared." Then another. "It hurts." And another. "Why won't you help me?" They kept coming, filling my screen, all from different unknown numbers. Dozens of messages, all begging for help, all claiming to be lost or hurt or scared. I turned my phone to silent and shoved it back in my pocket. At 2:30 a.m., Devin texted the group. "I'm heading back. I can't do this anymore." Marcus, "You have 30 minutes left. Wait." Devin, "No, I'm done. This is insane. I'll see you guys at the crossroads." That was the last message from Devin. At 2:45 a.m., with 15 minutes left, I decided it was time to head back. According to my GPS, I was about a quarter mile from the crossroads. Easy walk. I extinguished my candle since I could use my phone's flashlight to find my way back. Rule 9 said to relight it immediately if it went out, but I was planning to relight it as soon as I reached Marcus. The walk back should have been simple, but the woods had changed. Trees that I didn't remember seeing before blocked the paths. The ground seemed to slope in directions that didn't make sense. My GPS kept glitching, showing me spinning in circles even though I was walking in a straight line. I started to panic. 15 minutes had seemed like plenty of time, but now I wasn't sure I could make it back. That's when I saw the light ahead, a flickering glow through the trees.
The crossroads. Relief flooded through me. I pushed through the underbrush, branches catching at my clothes, and stumbled out into the clearing. But something was wrong. Marcus was there, standing at the center of the crossroads where we'd left him. His candle was still lit, held in both hands, but he wasn't alone. Surrounding him, in a perfect circle, maybe 10 feet away, were shapes. I couldn't focus on them directly. When I looked straight at them, they seemed to shift and blur, but in my peripheral vision, I could see them clearly. Tall, impossibly thin figures that didn't quite touch the ground. Their faces were wrong, like someone had described a human face but had never actually seen one. They weren't moving, just standing there, watching Marcus. I checked my phone. 2:52 a.m. 8 minutes left. Marcus saw me, and his eyes went wide. He started to call out, but then caught himself. Instead, he just gestured desperately for me to stay back. I didn't understand until I looked at my candle. It was still unlit. Rule 9. If your candle goes out, relight it immediately. My hands shook as I pulled out my matches. The first one broke. The second one wouldn't strike. The third finally lit, and I held it to the candle wick. The moment the flame caught, the shapes around Marcus all turned to look at me. I have never felt fear like that. It was primal, overwhelming, the kind of terror that makes you understand why animals play dead. Every instinct I had was screaming at me to run, to hide, to do anything except stand there while those things looked at me. But I held still. I kept my candle lit, and slowly, carefully, I walked toward the crossroads. The shapes didn't move. They just watched as I crossed the invisible boundary of their circle and stood next to Marcus. "Where are the others?" I whispered. "I don't know," Marcus whispered back. "Devin said he was coming back, but I never saw him." 2:55 a.m. "They have 5 minutes," I said. We waited. The shapes around us didn't move or make any sound. They just stood there, a perfect circle of wrongness surrounding us. 2:57 a.m. My phone buzzed, a text from Sarah. "I can see the crossroads, but there's something blocking the path. I can't get through." Marcus looked at me, his face pale in the candlelight. "We have to help her. The rules say stay at the crossroads. The rules also say everyone has to make it back. What happens if they don't?" I didn't have an answer to that. 2:58 a.m. Another text from Sarah. "Please, it's getting closer. I can hear it breathing." Then Emma. "I'm lost. My GPS isn't working. Where are you guys?" 2:59 a.m. 1 minute left. Marcus made a decision. He started to step forward, to break the circle and go find the others. But the moment his foot crossed the boundary, all the shapes moved at once. They didn't rush or attack. They just closed in. The circle got smaller, tighter, until they were right next to us. I could feel the cold radiating off them, could smell that rotten meat smell. Marcus stepped back, and they retreated to their original positions. "We can't leave," he said, his voice breaking. "If we leave the circle, they'll—" He didn't finish. He didn't have to. 3 a.m. My phone lit up with notifications, texts from Sarah and Emma, both saying the same thing. "Where did everyone go? It's so dark now. Please answer. I can't find the way back. Something touched me. It's here. It's—" The messages stopped. Marcus and I stood there, our candles burning, surrounded by those shapes, and waited. Minutes passed. 5, 10, 20. At 3:30 a.m., the shapes finally began to move away. They drifted back into the trees, fading into the darkness. Within minutes, they were gone. The woods came alive again, wind in the branches, animals in the underbrush, the normal sounds of night. We waited until sunrise. Sarah, Devon, and Emma never came back. When we finally left the crossroads, we searched for hours. We called their names. We used our phones to try to track them. Nothing. It was like they'd never been there at all. We called the police at 7 a.m. Told them our friends were missing. We didn't mention the game. We said we'd been having a Halloween party in the woods and got separated. The police searched for 3 days. They found nothing. No footprints, no dropped items, no sign that anyone had been in those woods except Marcus and me. Our friends' parents were devastated. Search parties combed the forest. News helicopters flew overhead. But no one found anything. The police questioned us separately. Our stories matched because we told the truth. Just not all of it. Yes, we'd been in the woods on Halloween night. No, we didn't know what happened to the others. Yes, we'd gotten separated. No, we didn't see anything unusual. They didn't believe us. I could see it in their eyes. They thought we'd done something to our friends, killed them or helped them run away or something. And maybe they were right to think that, because in a way, we did this. We played the game. We ignored all the warnings, and 3 of our friends paid the price. But here's the thing that keeps me awake at night. The thing that made me finally run away to this hotel room 3 states from home. My wish came true. I'd forgotten all about it, with all that happened. But according to Rule 11, if everyone returns safely, you make a wish while holding your candle, and it comes true within a year. Everyone didn't return safely, so we shouldn't have gotten our wishes. But we did. 3 days after our friends disappeared, I got a letter in the mail. College acceptance to my dream school with a full scholarship. I'd applied, but never thought I'd get in. The letter was dated October 30th, the day before Halloween, before any of this happened. Marcus got into MIT, full ride, also dated October 30th. We'd made our wishes before the game started, joking around about it. I'd said, I wished to get into Stanford. Marcus had said MIT. The wishes we made came true, even though the game didn't end right, even though our friends disappeared.
That's when I realized the truth. The game never needed everyone to return safely for the wishes to work. That was a lie. The game needed sacrifices. It needed people who didn't make it back. That's what powered the wishes. And we'd given it 3. I called Marcus, hysterical. He'd figured it out too. We have to tell someone, I said. We have to tell the truth. Who's gonna believe us? Marcus asked. We'll sound insane. They'll lock us up like they did to the kids in those old articles. He was right, but I couldn't live with it. So I wrote everything down, every detail, and I was going to take it to the police. That's when Emma's mom called me. Alex, she said, her voice shaking. Did Emma say anything to you before she disappeared? Anything strange? No, I lied. Why? Because I found something in her room, a diary entry from Halloween night. She wrote it before she left. My blood ran cold. What did it say? She wrote about the game, about the rules, and at the end she wrote, I wish I'd never met any of them. I dropped the phone. Emma had made a wish that she'd never met us. I don't know what that means. I don't know if she's alive somewhere, living a life where our friend group never existed. Or if she's gone, erased, unmade by her own wish. All I know is that Devin and Sarah made wishes too. Devin always said he wished he could disappear, that he could just stop existing and not have to deal with life anymore. And Sarah wished she could stay young forever, that she'd never have to grow up. Their wishes came true. Devin disappeared. And Sarah's body was found a week after Halloween, deep in the woods. The medical examiner said she died sometime after midnight on November 1st. But here's the thing. She looked exactly the same as the last time we saw her. Not a day older. 17 forever. The game gave us all what we wished for, but it twisted the wishes, made them horrible. That's what it does. That's what it's always done. And now I'm the only one who knows the truth. I can't go to the police with this. They already think I'm involved. If I tell them about the game, about the wishes, they'll think I'm insane or making up stories to cover my guilt. I can't stay in town. Everyone looks at me like I'm a monster, like I killed my friends. So I ran. But here's what terrifies me. I keep getting texts from unknown numbers. They come every night at midnight. Come play again. The game misses you. Bring 5 new friends. You still owe us. That last one came tonight. You still owe us. I realized what it means. Marcus and I got our wishes. We got what we wanted. But the game decided our other friends had to pay the price. That's not fair. That's not balanced. We still owe a debt. And I think it's going to come collect. I'm writing this down, and I'm going to post it online, everywhere I can. I'm going to tell everyone about the last game, about the rules, about what happens if you play. Don't ever play this game. Don't do it as a joke. Don't do it because you think it's fake. Don't do it because you want a wish to come true. The wishes always come true, but never the way you want them to. And the game never ends. Not really. Marcus stopped responding to my texts 3 days ago. His parents reported him missing yesterday. The police think he ran away, that the guilt got to him. But I know better. The game came to collect its debt. I'm next. I can feel it. Every night when I try to sleep, I hear whispers outside my hotel room door. I hear footsteps in the hallway that stop right outside. I hear my name called in voices I recognize. My mom, my dad, my missing friends. Tonight, at exactly midnight, someone knocked on my door. 3 knocks, slow and deliberate. A voice came through the door. Alex, Jordan, Chen, you still owe us. It was my own voice. I didn't open the door. I pushed the dresser in front of it, and I've been sitting here writing this ever since. It's 2:47 a.m. now, 13 minutes until 3 a.m. The knocking hasn't stopped. It just keeps going, over and over, the same 3 knocks. And now I hear more footsteps in the hallway, more voices. Sarah, Devin, Emma, Marcus, all calling my name, all telling me to open the door, all telling me it's time to play again. The worst part is, part of me wants to, because I'm so tired. I'm so scared. And maybe if I just open the door, if I just play one more round, everything will be over. Maybe that's what happened to the others. Maybe they didn't disappear. Maybe they just got tired of running and they opened the door when the game came knocking. It's 2:55 a.m. The knocking is louder now. The door is shaking. The dresser is sliding across the floor. I don't think I have until 3 a.m. If you're reading this, please remember what I told you. Never play the last game, no matter what they promise, no matter what you want. The price is always too high. And once you play, you never really stop. The door just opened. They're here. I have to go now. I'm sorry, Mom and Dad. I love you. I'm sorry, Sarah. I'm sorry, Devin. I'm sorry, Emma. I'm sorry, Marcus. I should never have said yes. The candles just went out. All of them at once.